All right, so it's time for a real estate reality check. I want to share my screen and talk through a specific deal that I'm kind of working on right now, and how it came through. And then we may have some other people share deals that they have that are working through as well. So I got this particular deal by, I believe it came by a text message. So this person is someone who either got my number from somewhere on the internet that I post on social media, or maybe they skip traced me and realized that we buy properties in the Tupelo, Mississippi area. Um, and so once they got my number, I just want y'all to see how this deal actually came apart. I want y'all to go back. We're gonna go back up to the top of this message flow. Um, he says, "Hey, your voicemail says you prefer text to messages. Do you work with wholesalers? And if so, are you looking for your next deal in Tupelo?" All right. So what does this first message tell you? The first message tells you that the first thing he tried to do was call me. Okay. The first thing he tried to do was call me. That's a plus. He didn't get out of the phone. He didn't get me on the phone, so he texted me. Plus, do y'all see the strategy that we teach working as well? Same strategy that we teach, right? Call twice, text if they don't answer. He texts me. He has a foreign number, by the way, so I never would have answered the phone. So I'm glad he texted. Um, but I hate when people send me a text like this because he didn't give me any information. He says, "Are you looking for your next deal in Tupelo?" I immediately say, "Can you send me full details?" Hey, y'all, I'm telling y'all, people appreciate if you just send the information that they need in the first text. Okay. I needed the address, I needed the pictures, I needed the price that he wanted, all of that. Okay. Um, in the first message. But nevertheless, he sends me pictures of the property, but no address, and says he's asking for 40K. Okay. Then I ask him for the address. He sends me the address. This is how the whole deal went. Okay. My initial text to him, because he's a wholesaler, y'all, this is a different strategy than I might use if it's a direct to seller situation. But because he's a wholesaler, he's trying to make a fee. I get his business. Um, the first thing I say is, "Hey, give me your absolute best price. I'm interested. I don't haggle. I'm cash." Y'all see that text message? I don't haggle. I'm cash. Okay. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to get to the meat of the situation so I can see if there's any room. Okay. I'm also letting him know up front that I'm a serious buyer. Like, this ain't no game. This is what we do for a living. And he can tell from that message that I'm the actual end buyer, right? Somebody that's not the end buyer is going to ask something like, when do you need this to close by? Or, something like that first, which we ask that in the next message, by the way. But anyways, next message from him, he tells me what he's under contract for. Okay. He says if he can make $2,500 quick and easy and build a relationship, he's happy with coming down to 37.5. So, it's not like I care how much he's making, but what just happened is he shot honest with me. So now I'm going to shoot honest with him. He asked me to get him some good pictures. Okay. Because he doesn't have good photos. He doesn't have good video. It's terrible, actually. The video is terrible. Okay. The pictures are horrible. So I asked him, "Hey, does he have access? Can he get me into the property?" I charge $200 for photos if I'm not the buyer. Why do y'all think I tell him that? Why y'all think I tell him that? I say I probably will buy it, but why do y'all think I tell him I charge $200 for photos if I'm not the buyer?
So you can cover yourself?
I mean it too. I mean it. You know why I mean it? Because I'm not going to take photos for him to now market this out to 50 other buyers and just bid me up. right? All of this, by the way, projects seriousness. I'm not going to waste my time. I also say, but I'll probably buy. So he knows that I'm probably his buyer. And then I ask him for the closing date. He says he can get me in. He doesn't want to pay the $200 for photos, which is like most wholesalers. They don't understand that it costs money to make money. Um, but I win anyway. I asked him if it was vacant. He says yes. Um, then I go by. Okay. I go by. Y'all see my finky fingers if you're on YouTube or somewhere else where they post this later. I go by, right? I already have all the information I need here. I sent him a text message saying this one is in a bad spot. I can do 30 for it. Now, this is important, y'all, that y'all see. I'm not lowballing him on a house that he's asking for 40 and sending him an offer for 10 or 15 when in actuality, as y'all will see in a minute, 40 works. On this deal, 40 makes money. Okay, so he's not sending it out for a bad price. It's already a good deal where he's got it priced. Okay. Anyways, he says, if I get the price drop, are you using a lender or are you using your own cash? I tell him I'm cash again. He says, do you have an attorney? Y'all, he don't even have an attorney in the area. So now I'm his sole person he's working with. Okay. Um, I ask him when the closing date is. It's April 1st. I give him the title company number. Y'all can kind of see all of the transaction here. Y'all can see that I ended up getting it for 33. So 33 is the number that I ended up signing with. Um, let's see here. He talks about the seller. He talks about the attorney. We've already exchanged information this morning. So he's got the title company information. I'm saving his number in my phone for the future because we're going to do this transaction. And now the attorney has the purchase agreement in his email. So this would be considered receipts. All right. This is today at 8:34 a.m. Y'all can kind of see the whole transaction here. I'm going to ask him right now. By the way, where'd you get my number? I like to ask because I want to see how he's finding me. But this is a transaction that I'm actually doing right now. We can underwrite this deal. Sometimes it's fun to kind of look at the deals that I actually do and just kind of look at what's going on here. So this is a house that we could pick up in Tupelo, Mississippi for $33,000. And I'll show y'all the pictures in a minute. But let's log in here and just see what's going on in Tupelo right now. By the way, the cheapest house on the market in Tupelo right now that's available. I have no idea, by the way. I haven't looked at this lately. But these are the kind of things that we look at when we're determining, hey, did we get a good buy? If I sort this, go lowest price, look for single family homes only. Cheapest house on the market is actually one sold for 49. There's one right now for 65. There's another one pending for 68. Another one at 89. So, you know, I guess we're 32, 33. So 33 would be half of the cheapest house that's on the market right now in the area. It's not bad. Maybe it's worth 65. Um, you got a little comp right here. Let's see what we pull up. West Main Street. This is a good area. West Tupelo. It's a perfect spot, actually. Um, Over here by the airport, we've got some listings right now. One for 139. We've got one for 135. Mississippi is a non-disclosure state, so you don't get as much information as you get in some other states that disclose. But hey, this is where we're at. Propelion's not so good for this particular house. All right. What else? What else I want to tell y'all about this deal? So, anyways, the way that we're figuring this house is probably got an ARV around 140, 150. That's where we're thinking it will actually sell. Here are the photos. Let's pull up the photos here. Oh, here we go. Quinn said he found me. He did some gold mining on PropStream, looking at houses that were bought around this price point. He was trying to find properties that were between 100 and 150 after being bought for 25 and 50. He said he used investor base, but he tried something different this time. He called 5 real estate agents in the area and they connected him with me. Okay. So he's telling me his strategy for finding buyers. Y'all see that? This is communication with another investor. Like, how'd you find me? So if I want to find buyers, thinking about Osai here as you're getting ready to wholesale a first deal, he's telling you his method right now for finding buyers. Um, I will screenshot this and throw this in the WhatsApp just in case somebody wants to look at that later.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I just screenshot it.
Boom, there you go. All right, so anyways, let's keep going. I did want to show the pictures of the property. Hey, Salas. Hey, lady. All right, so y'all
Hi.
can see here's my assignment thing. Grab the map. That's my company, and then the closing date's April 1st. So it is we are really doing the deal. Let's see. Here's the pictures. Kind of see the house here. Doesn't look like it's totally torn down. It's got some work that's needed, definitely. Y'all can kind of see he said they were bad pictures. They are pretty rough. Pretty rough pictures. Okay. But anyways, somewhere around 40,000 in repairs. We pick it up for 33. And if it's worth 135 or more, that's a good burr. That's a good burr project. The margins are there. It's a good flip as well. For me, these days, I've already sent this deal out to like 3 people for a wholesale, and I might just wholesale it for 43. So if we put it under contract at 33 and I find somebody to pay me 43, I'm happy to move on right now. I don't really need any more rental properties. But that's how the business works. Um, that's how the business works. Of course, if I had just accepted his offer at 40, if I had just said I was going to take his offer at 40, I wouldn't have a spread there to maybe wholesale this deal to another buyer. And somebody might be thinking, I know out there where you are, Isaac, they kind of have banned wholesaling, right? That's like not even allowed anymore. Um, so out where you are, is that true, Isaac?
They put a little twist to it. You basically can't. Basically, the new rules define wholesaling as marketing property you haven't purchased. So you can still do it, but you just can't publicly market it pretty much like we used to do.
So basically, you can double close.
Yeah, and they still wholesale vacant land. And if you like have a list of buyers and you can do it quietly, there's still attorneys around here that'll do it.
Yeah, because you could basically say, I'm gonna put it under contract, close it yourself, and then the very next transaction, you could close it with somebody else and make your little spread that way.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, there's some places that are kind of banning it. So some people might not want to do it. Also, some people are thinking, okay, well, you mean you're basically wholesaling a deal from one wholesaler to another? Y'all, I've been doing this now going on 10 years. So my strategy might be a little different than yours. I know buyers, like you said, Isaac, if you have a few people that that buy quickly and they're no nonsense. This is not me meeting new buyers for the first time or sending a list out to random people hoping they buy. Um, if you're going to wholesale a wholesaler's deal, you need to have some relationships that act quickly and that you can count on. Um, but that's the strategy that I use sometimes as well. So that's the deal I'm working right now. And hopefully that helps somebody. Questions about this deal, questions about something else. I like to do these reality checks. All right, what else? What else? What else are y'all working on? Or questions about this deal in particular?
Could you go back when you said the photography said that you charge 200? So letting him know that you charge 200, that was letting him know that you're serious, but was also, are you charging him the 200
Oh yeah, I would definitely do that.
as as going directly to the seller?
Oh no, this was not direct to seller. This was a
Okay.
wholesaler.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, this was a wholesaler. Um, that whole transaction and everything I talked about was a wholesaler that's trying to find a buyer for something he's put under contract.
Copy. Got you.
Yeah. Um, and I mean, like every to each his own. We all have our own different things that we like to do. I'm a full-time investor. So if I'm going to take an hour to go to a property, I want to pretty much know that if I like it, I'm going to be the buyer. I don't like going to bid. I don't like going to shop. Um, so if the numbers make sense, I don't want them basically putting my offer up against other people and saying, "Oh, I've got this offer from this guy for 33." I just don't like that. So I will usually say stuff to get the person selling the property to stop talking to everybody else before I spend time on it. You know, the most important thing to all of us is time. Um, and so mission accomplished. I mean, once I told him that I was going to take a look at it, he kind of realized, okay, I need to deal with this guy because everybody else is going to tell him they're interested, but they may take 2 or 3 days to go look, and that's not what he needs. As a wholesaler, he needs somebody that's going to buy and somebody that's serious. All right, what else? Good question, Osai. Other comments, questions, ways that you might approach this differently?
When you wholesaling from another wholesaler, how does that look like at closing? Or as far as the paperwork goes?
Yeah, usually it's just another assignment. So just another assignment contract. In Mississippi, we don't have any laws that prohibit wholesaling. So basically, he's using my attorney, and I turn in his underlying contract. Then I turn in his assignment of his contract from him to me. And then I just add another assignment in there that's assigning it from Grab the Map LLC to whoever that is. Again, this strategy really only works that fast if you have a buyer already. Like not that you're putting a wholesaler's contract, like property under contract, and then trying to find a buyer. That doesn't work because the wholesaler is going to find out. Um, and I don't really hide it, but some people will try to do this and then try to market the property. I think that's wrong. But if I have one or two, three people that I know are buyers, or if I can close on it myself, I feel comfortable doing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. All right. What other questions do we have today? When deals like this come across my table, it reminds me right now that I'll go in a room and people will say, "Oh, you can't find deals right now," or "It's hard to find deals. I've been looking for my first deal forever." Y'all, they're out here. They're out here. I mean, this one, I didn't expect to find this. I didn't really pay for this. And based on what he's saying, business comes because of past business that we've done. He's able to look and see that we do deals in the area. So he reaches out. I think that's pretty cool. And one of the things that I try to do on the acquisition side is be very quick to go visit the property, quick to put it under contract and get control of it, and then quick to find whoever it is that's actually going to close on it. Because I really don't want any more rentals right now. All right. What else we got? What else are y'all working on that I can help with? I got another half hour here. So what
Okay.
I'm gonna
I
do
have
is
a
I'm go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna bring what I'm working on right now is out in kind of like the Dallas area. I've been kind of in contact with this guy for about almost I want to say almost about 20 days. So, I mean, from our phone conversation, we've been like I've called him probably about 27 times. But he's been kind of going back and forth. I'm gonna drive over there and drop off a contract with him. The ARV in the area, I can give you the address, but I don't know because I first got him at 285 because he wanted to look at 300, and now he didn't like the contract. He said he wanted to hold off on it, but now he guess he called me on Saturday thinking of somebody else, and then he said, "You know what? I want 400." I said, "I can't really do 400, but let's meet up tomorrow. Let's try to sign a contract to try to get you around there." But because I told him over the phone, maybe around 385. Because the ARV, it's like maybe like 550. So I said we can try to be around 385, and I can come and drop off the contract on Monday afternoon. But I just wanted to see if you guys can look at the area and
I
see.
want
But now I think to be fully invested, I've been doing it for a couple months, underwriting deals, making offers, making calls, and everything. But
Okay.
so I've been
That's
kind
a
of
very hot market, right? Like it's a primary market, right?
yeah, it's pretty competitive as well. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean
Okay.
it's a booming market.
Yeah. That would be a primary. Is that where you live?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how are you finding it? Is it do you feel like there's a lot of competition and you kind of, or you feel like, well, it's
So how I found leads right now was for sure. I started out cold calling, then because I also work at but I was like it's too much time, so I went ahead and paid a service for leads. So I paid for a service, and they kind of give me a monthly subscription for leads. They call
mm-hmm,
people, and then they how the phone conversation goes is, do they want an offer for a lead, or I mean, do they want to offer for their home? Are they
mm-hmm,
interested in selling, or do you want to hear what the market looks like right now? And then that
mm-hmm.
kind of generates as a lead, and then that lead comes to me, and then I follow up with them asking more in-depth questions about their property, and then we go from there.
So about how much do you spend a month for that lead source in terms of them getting the lead, like cold calling them and everything else?
So right now I've spent so I have them for 6 months, so about
Mhm.
13,500. So I guess divide that by 6 months. So that's about $2,250 a month.
So,
We're just doing wholesale, trying to close wholesale deals. And then once we get familiar with wholesale and kind of like have a good understanding, we'll move over to flips. But taking it, one step at a time. I thought coming in, I thought it was a race, but it is a marathon.
it's a marathon. I like that. Yeah.
You know, yeah. But one thing is that when you see like the Boston marathons or even people are running, you're thinking that you're doing it yourself, but everybody's running with you. So
Yeah.
all about relationships.
Yeah.
Uh,
Relationships are
it is
huge.
a team sport, that's for sure.
Yeah,
It
everyone
is a team sport.
everyone has the same goal.
Yes. All right, good deal. So, Osai, you were telling us about a deal. Did y'all talk that through, or you want to look at it real quick?
Oh no, we didn't talk it through. We were just connecting, but yeah, I can talk it through.
All right. So while you're looking for that, let's while you're looking for that, let's just answer a fundamental question that I think we all need to be asking or answering whenever we're looking at an opportunity. Like, what's your exit strategy? How are you going to make money on this deal? That's the real question.
Yeah, well, that's a very good question. For one, on this one, I had two was to either wholesale it to a buyer that's going to preferably rent, or wholesale it to just say an end buyer. I was going to. wholesale it to a flipper or wholesale it to a buyer that wants to preferably rent.
Okay, so what you said was you're going to wholesale the deal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if your exit strategy is to wholesale the deal, okay, um, we need to be able to answer the next question. Okay, the next question is very important. If you're going to wholesale something, that means you're going to get it at a price that you can sell it to somebody else for a profit. Okay, you're not going to do any work to it. You're going to wholesale it to somebody else. You're going to assign that contract for a profit. So my next question is, what problem does the person selling you the property have? What's their problem? Only reason somebody's going to sell something to you at a discount or at a price where you could profit on it through assigning the contract is if they have some kind of problem. So what do you think the problem is?
Their problem was they needed to pay off debts. Yeah, so I said the best thing I can do is I can try to either find a real. I can give. I can. You can put it on the market if you want it, but if you want it to be done quickly, we're gonna have to, come at a good deal or a good deal that makes sense for you for both of us. Or
All right. So my next question would have been, how soon do you need the 400,000?
okay,
Okay. Getting it done quickly is not necessary unless he needs it done quickly,
no,
right? And we'll talk about why that matters in just a minute. Okay. So I'm gonna ask you again, what is his problem? Not your problem, his problem.
money.
He needs money. Okay. How
Yeah,
much does he need? How much does he need? How much is his side piece going to cost him?
he said from our conversation on Saturday, he said he needs to sell it for 400,000. He owns the property, so I don't, but yeah.
Okay. So this is all a part of the conversation with your seller. Okay. The way you ask questions like this is like, does he have a loan on the property? Is he actually gonna get proceeds at closing? Okay. You want to find out how much is he actually going to get when this is all said and done. Maybe, if he pays a commission or if he pays title fees, if he has a loan, if he has liens, these are things that are determining what he's actually going to get when he sells the property. So once you build rapport with them and they actually think you can help them, I will normally ask them something like, okay, when this is all said and done, how much are you looking to walk away with in your pocket? Okay. Do you think that number is 400?
I doubt it, but yeah,
Okay. I don't know. We don't know, do we?
yeah, yeah. We don't know.
So this is something that we would talk to him. You said you called him like 25 times or something. Like this is something that you would want to know pretty early on because the solution that you come up with should be to get him the money that he's looking for. Okay. Not 30 days because he didn't ask for that.
Mhm.
Right. If
Yeah,
if the solution is getting him the money in his pocket, you're going to think of a solution that addresses whatever his actual issue is. Okay. So now thinking about that, let's look at this deal and figure out we don't know the answer to the most basic question, which is what is his actual problem and how much he needs. But now we can look at the deal and see kind of where it's headed because you're about to spend more time on this and maybe go by his house. So did he say that he would sign a contract if you dropped it over there, or you just want to try that to get him
uh,
to close
he said he will sign a contract.
for
If I,
400?
yeah, for 385.
For 385, and that would be how many days? 30 days?
Yeah, yeah. I said 25 days.
Because you want 25 days. Help me understand why you're doing 25 days.
25 days because that was kind of that was just a window that I thought of.
Okay. And you're going to wholesale the deal, right?
Yeah,
And this is your first deal, right?
yeah.
So do you think it would make more sense for you to get more time or less time?
I mean, for sure, it will make more sense to get more time.
And because he didn't ask for time, then you push that off as long as you can, right?
Yeah.
You could tell him, if I could get you 385 by July, is that okay?
Yeah.
Why are
Okay.
you saying no?
No, I said, yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Because he didn't ask for anything else. Like, he didn't say I need 385 tomorrow or in
Yeah.
25 days. He says I need 385 because I gotta pay some bills. Right. So
Hmm.
if for some reason, especially when it doesn't look like it's got a huge spread, like it's not a really good deal, get more time because that's going to give you more time to wholesale that deal. More time is a good thing. Okay. Because that's going to give you more time to find buyers, especially if this is your first one. You can always close it sooner, but you can't close it later. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can always close it in 25 days if you find a buyer that fast, but it'll be harder to close that deal like after the date because you're going to have to get him to give you an extension to do that.
Okay.
All right, so let's look it up. You got the details for us?
Yeah. I put it in the chat.
And the cool thing about this is that you now have a seller that is willing to sell, and you know what the price is that he's willing to sell for. Okay. Keep in mind that once you tell a seller a price and like he's expecting you to drop by with a contract, getting it lower is almost impossible. Right?
Got you, but with faith.
Yeah, with faith, with faith. But let's take a look here. What we got going on. Have you been by this property already as well?
Yeah, I've been around the neighborhood. I haven't went by that specific property yet.
Okay, okay, cool. So you've discussed the price, didn't necessarily look at it yet. Have you seen pictures?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so he sent you photos.
I just saw a picture on the outside. I haven't seen the actual photos on the inside.
Okay. All right. So just glancing here at the neighborhood in Propelio, we see a lot of listings, right? And we definitely see a lot of activity. We need some information here. So let's see what we get off of Google. Google says it's 1,500 square feet. It's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath.
Yeah. Bless you.
Hey, thanks, Sarah. All right. And we got pictures like this.
Yeah.
Is this what it looks like?
Yeah. He wanted to kind of fix up the roof and some fencing and stuff, but
You see these columns on the front here?
yeah, it's kind of foundation.
Uh-huh. Everybody else see that? They're leaning over.
Mhm.
Okay. I see window units on the outside of the house. All right. Is this what it looks like on the outside? Like right now, would you say this is what it looks like?
I think so.
Okay. Did he tell you anything that would make you feel like the inside looks better than this?
He's currently living in it, so he did tell me that he wanted to fix up the outside of the house. Um, but he didn't mention anything necessarily. He said the flooring needs work. That was pretty much about it, but he didn't tell me anything kind of horrendous.
All right. What is the rest of the room's initial thoughts on this? What are y'all's initial thoughts just from seeing the photos? We got an asking price around 385. What do y'all think? We got a 1,500 square foot house. Feel free to come off of mute. Good to see you, Julian.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. We just doing real estate deals. See Charles, Salas, Osai, you can also give your thoughts. Just, your thoughts from seeing the outside. Seller wants 385. What do y'all initially think here? Anybody got any initial thoughts? Is it just me? Is it just me that thinks 385 for this looks like seems like it's very high?
I think it is
Is it
high
is it just me?
for 1,500 square foot. I think it's high.
Okay.
1,500 square foot times 100 square feet would be 150,000. Times 200 square feet would be $300,000. Okay. And so we do see on our initial scan here, like there are some properties selling for, shoot, there's one right next to it here. Okay, that's an apartment complex selling for 7 million.
So if you, I guess if you, let's say, um, fix the filter. So let's say do built from some 1910 to 1950.
1950. All right.
And let's do probably up to 1,700 square feet on the house size.
You doing a whole lot of analysis. Hey, we don't need to do this analysis.
Okay. Okay.
Look at I love what you're doing, by the way. But look at what you're doing. You're analyzing something that doesn't make sense with common sense. Right? This is common sense. So we can go deeper, but when you start going deeper, it needs to be because you think the numbers might make sense,
Okay.
right? And so even if you start taking filters and you go in here, let's just go back and look at the front of the house. Right? This is common sense. We're talking about 385,000 bucks, which is over $200 a square foot. And the house obviously has some foundation problems. Just from the front photos, it doesn't look like he's spent any time, attention, and care on the outside of this house, which probably means what? What do you think that means outside?
It's probably trash on the inside.
He probably has not spent time, care, and attention on the inside either. All right. And believe it or not, I used to say the same thing, and I still say this. If it's livable, you do have a basic sense of, right, it's livable, right? So, but I promise you, livable to everybody means something totally different.
Gotcha.
So if you look right here and you see these window units on the outside, you see this missing siding underneath with critters and all kind of stuff can get underneath the house.
Yeah.
It common sense is 385 is too much for this. Now, the only time that I would say maybe there's something to think about here is if I went into this year built and I did 2000 to now. Okay,
For a new build.
So I did new construction. And if I saw a whole bunch of $1 million new homes, I'm talking about brand new builds. Like this, for example, is a duplex that's being built down the street. It's for sale right now. And look at how long it's been on the market, 330 days. Somebody did a spec build and it's just sitting on the market. This is a luxury duplex that somebody built down the street. I don't know if this lot is zone multifamily or not, but you can tell within half a mile that people are taking the risk of tearing some of these old houses down and rebuilding. Even then, would you pay $385,000 for a piece of land? Right? It baffles me. It sounds like lose your shirt, lose all your money, and you deserve to. Okay.
Okay.
So yes, let's say that the ARV is 550. And I know it's after 1 o'clock, y'all, but we're gonna finish this one. Let's say the ARV is 550 and it's a 1,500 square foot house. So let's assume that at the minimum, this is common sense. This is not like I need to do a whole book or write a whole book on this. 550,000 is your ARV, which I think is suspect, but we're going to use that. 550 times 70%. I don't know. Somebody use a calculator. 550 times 70% minus minimum I'm saying minimum 100K rehab. And that's probably low.
So 285.
Okay, so we're at 285 before we even start thinking about, and that's high. I'm telling you that's high. 285 is high. I
Okay.
have no idea where this guy comes up with the $400,000 valuation. I have no clue. And I
Gotcha.
guess if I owned this property and you were willing to sign a contract for 400K, I probably would get you to sign a contract on it too. Matter of fact, I got some brand new houses right now that I would sell you for 400K that are totally renovated and done already.
Gotcha. Okay.
So this one right here is a no, 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 no. In the strongest sense of the word. If you were considering doing like, if let's say the lot was zoned multifamily, because that's important in Dallas. This area right here is gentrifying, as you can tell.
Mhm.
Now you maybe there's some more exploration to do here. But as you can see, it's very speculative. You can see these people are building these duplexes and they just sitting on the market over here.
Yeah.
And that would be the only reason why somebody might spend that kind of money on that lot is if they tore the house down and rebuilt something worth $1 million. And even then, you'd want to keep the price under 200K on the lot. Unless there's something special about this lot, which it doesn't look like it is. You see right here, all of these are single family lots. None of these are
Yeah.
multifamily lots. So you'd have to get it rezoned. Um, I'm just not seeing why 400 is his number.
Gotcha. Do you
Um,
usually for ARV, you don't because sometimes if I guess it just depends on the area. Sometimes I go 9 months or a year to get a good ARV, but I see
you're
that you
doing too
just
much of analysis. It's common
gotcha.
sense. Like if you use let me just give you an example. If you use 600,000 for the ARV, it doesn't work, right? I want you to start doing this analysis when the numbers are close. Like if he was telling you he wanted 150, right? We're gonna dig and dive and do more analysis.
Okay.
I need to text Elaine and tell her we're running late here. Calling you shortly. Um, if he was closer or looking like the numbers that, and I would ask him this. I would ask him this question. Uh, how did you come up with 400K? How did you come up with 385? Or did you come up with 385? I want to know who came up with 385.
Oh no, because originally I offered him do I say? Originally I offered he wanted 300. And actually, he really wanted 400. I couldn't do that, so I talked him down to around 285, and that was like
Okay.
maybe 2 weeks ago. Um, and I was like, okay, we can try to get down for 285, but let me just get you to sign, so we can kind of like after inspection, then we kind of see. And then he was kind of dodging me for a couple weeks. And then sometimes he was call me randomly thinking I'm somebody else and say, "Hey, is your mom on the phone?" And it's like, sir." He doesn't seem like he's all the way there. So, this weekend he called me saying that he wanted to sell, but he needed about 400,000. And so that's kind of where we got the 385 from.
I like the idea of you going to sit down with him.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of you signing a contract for anything in the high twos. Um, so maybe go sit down with him, find out what he actually needs. What is he
Yeah.
actually trying to do? If he has liens against the property, find out that so you find out exactly what he's going home with. Um, but it sounds like he's not motivated. Like it doesn't sound like he needs the money as much as we like for people to need the money. Um, Other thoughts or ideas here y'all want to share with Osai? And Osai, man, like I'm actually so thankful to have you on the call today and you share like what you're actually working on because this is the real work. Like we all can look at these things differently. So I'm just going to open up the floor. Hey, Steve, Jack, good to see y'all. Y'all come in here late today. We do this at noon on Monday, so y'all always welcome. Y'all have thoughts for Osai? You have thoughts for him on this one? Y'all being quiet? You're on mute if y'all have anything to share. Isaac, what do you think? You working or can you share kind of what you think on this one?
If anyone has any, I'm willing to take criticism. It's you guys can jump me, it's fine. Uh, but yeah, I appreciate these calls. It's good to work as a team and kind of rub minds.
Yeah. I think this is good feedback for you. I think like if there was any pro, number one, you're talking to sellers, and that's huge. Okay. It's huge that you're talking to sellers. Um, Number two, you're making offers. That's huge. I'm looking at the room. The room, we got people kind of jumping in here. Most people on this call should be making offers. And y'all know, I'll shoot it straight. Most people on this call are not probably making offers. We're not making enough. Okay. So plus that you're making offers. That's a win. Okay. I love that. But you also have, I think I will repeat this probably every week. You need to make sure that your offer is solving a problem for the seller, which means you have to get really good at knowing what that seller's problem is.
Gotcha.
You have to get extremely good at building the rapport to figure out what that seller actually wants. And most of the time, people do not want the money. They want their problem solved. As investors, we focus on the money because we're trying to figure out how to make money, right? But the seller is focused on solving their problem. Okay. Their problem might be getting out of a bad loan. In this case, their problem might be, hey, my baby mama hit me up for 20K, right? If all he needs is 20K, we want to structure a deal where he gets 20K.
Yeah.
But you're helping them think through what they actually need and what the problem is they actually can solve. Because when you make your offer now, if you're giving them everything they need, you can get what you need. And sometimes that doesn't work. Like sometimes the seller won't give you the information, but that's different. Like if you were telling me, I asked him, but he wouldn't tell me, that's another sign of poor motivation.
Yeah.
Or that's a sign that we need to work on rapport building. But it also sounds like your seller is not clear on how much he needs.
Yeah.
If he went from 285 to 300 to 400 to 385, he's not clear either on what he needs. And then you say he might not be all there. So we may have spent 20 minutes today talking about something that is not going to happen, which is the worst type of analysis, by the way. Spending
Yeah.
time on something that's not going to work because you're dealing with somebody crazy who's not even going to be able to sign the paperwork.
Yeah, he doesn't sound motivated. He like I said, he's just trying to get his best number from whomever.
Yeah, and
That's
like
what
you
it kind of
said,
sounds like to me.
it sounds like he's calling multiple people trying to get the highest number. I think is what you said.
Yeah.
So, that's cool. Like let's get this to a place where you sit down with him, you'll know in person if he's crazy. You walk in the house, you'll know if he's crazy, if he's willing to do an appointment, right?
Yeah.
But also you'll be able to really say, here's the contract. There's $250,000 on this contract, and this 250 would net you 50K. Are we doing this or not?
Yeah.
Right. So you can really look at the number and say, does this solve your problem or not? I think that's where this one is headed. If for some reason you need some help and we haven't talked, y'all make sure to get in touch with me. I'm John Crutchfield, and most of y'all know who we are. So talk to y'all later.